The useless fuck of a human being that is Sharon Osbourne. Sharon Osbourne, of course, is the wife/manager of Ozzy Osbourne, a lifetime drug addict, fucking junkie piece of shit himself, who made a couple of good songs that never said anything or never had a message or anything, and were always written by other people. And always had a superior guitar player, from Randy Rhoads, Zakk Wylde's, many others, Tony Iommi, whatever. Fuck Ozzy Osbourne and his fucking dumb, racist children. They're all a bunch of fucking idiots. Remember when Kelly Osbourne said, Donald Trump, his first administration, Donald Trump, if you get rid of all the Mexicans and Latins, then who will clean your toilets? And then she corrected herself. She was on The View, and she said, but you know what I mean. No, you are a stuck-up little cunt who should shut her fucking mouth. And I don't mean cunt because she's a woman. I mean cunt like in the British sense. So Sharon Osbourne was at Coachella, or is pissed off at this Irish rap band, KNEECAP, who actually shouted out, they said, fuck Israel. And they are supporting the people of Palestine. So Sharon Osbourne wants their work visas yanked. She wants their work visas removed. She wants them removed from the United States for expressing an opinion at a fucking concert. This is where fascism is. If I don't like you, I just want you out of the country. Why don't we get rid of her ass, her enabling ass? Why the fuck am I listening to Sharon Osbourne's opinion about anything? Sharon Osbourne is a fucking tool, and she was married to a fucking junkie who she managed and recreated his career. He should have been fucking gone. His shitty asshole rock music that Ozzy Osbourne sings is terrible. And their son was a junkie, became a fucking junkie. And Kelly Osbourne, who has absolutely no talent, is now talking about fashion as if she's some fucking expert on anything other than being a rich, entitled little prick. And I don't use the word entitled very much because I don't like that word. But rich people are assholes. And for that fucking asshole, Sharon Osbourne, which, by the way, Sharon Osbourne has been involved in a couple of other controversies with other rappers and people and musicians. She's not a likable person. People don't like her. And she got on TV and she hosted a terrible show, and her whole career is being the wife and enabler of a fucking junkie. And who has never had a political stance that mattered. And because Sharon Osbourne is part Irish Catholic and Jewish, Ashkenazi, she's upset. And she's not even an American, born American. I'm sure she's a citizen because she's made money here. And that you can get a visa if you can make money here, or you can get a citizenship here quite quickly if a corporation or a business makes a lot of money off of you, which they've done off Ozzy Osbourne and his terrible music. I don't think his music's all terrible. Black Sabbath was cool, but a lot of the Osbourne individual stuff in the 80s was just driven by big guitars and nonsensical lyrics written by somebody else entirely. And he just stood there, barely functional, belting out songs. And she enabled all of this, by the way. She's been the biggest enabler of this fucking junkie idiot. And so now this is fascism. Hey, I don't like you, get out of the country. We do have a First Amendment. And if you're here on a visa, you have all the protections of a citizen. You are allowed to express your opinion still in this country. I know Donald Trump doesn't want that. I know Sharon Osbourne doesn't want that. She would rather advocate for Israel's bombing of children, of murdering 20,000 children that we know of. Children. 20,000 children. Not 20,000 Hamas members. I don't think a child can be a member of Hamas. Never mind. And this is one of the things that KNEECAP said. I'm not familiar with this rap group. I don't listen to. They're Irish. I don't. But they are taking the correct position. Make no mistake about it. People like Sharon Osbourne are racists, bigots who think all Muslims are terrorists. That's what they think. That's their bullshit line. They have been, and this is all 9/11 bullshit. This goes back into the 80s and treating every person from the Middle East as a fucking hijacker and marginalizing them. And there's a lot of really good stuff written about, but pre 9/11, how we viewed Muslims and people from the Arabs and people from the Middle East. And somehow, because Israelis look like us, they're white, and they're part of the settler colonial fucking project that is the American empire. Somebody like Sharon Osbourne, who could literally say that she believes, and she has an opinion, she gets to express her opinion as well. She's covered under the First Amendment as well, except for she's wrong. Her opinion sucks. And her opinion doesn't get her. Nobody ever having the opinion that Israel is perfectly justified in any of this bullshit ever gets banned. The media never says, well, the response to this was overwhelmingly ridiculous. Like the response to Hamas, and then listening to Smoldrick and all these people tell you that we need to eliminate Gaza. They won't say we need to kill the Palestinian people and eliminate them. They're saying we need to eliminate Gaza. We need to get rid of the Gaza Strip. Donald Trump wants other countries to take these people who are from this country. These people their families have been there for thousands of years. And they're being displaced. Caitlin Johnson has done some great work on this. She does a daily kind of a quick hit kind of, of 10-minute, 15-minute video that are great. And it's not only is it good morally, but it's really very good to make you think intellectually and have some critical thought about what's going on in the world, and particularly in Israel, and particularly in Gaza. Make no mistake, it's a genocide. They killed those medics, and then they put the medics inside their ambulance and buried it. Medics. We don't do that. They are breaking every rule of any sort of organized, and which, by the way, rules of war are you're murdering people, but hey, let's do it in a kind way. Like horrible to begin with. I'm anti-war of all kinds except for class war. But these guys have the courage, and knowing they're in America, and knowing this was going to be controversial, and they didn't care. And instead of her just shutting her big British fucking Botoxed plastic surgery face up, she had the balls to say that they support a terrorist organization. No, Sharon, you support the terrorist organization, which is the Israeli government. They are terrorists, period. That's what Israel is. It is a terror campaign. They are killing children and old people, bombing hospitals and schools, and pretending that there's tunnels underneath, and that we can't show you the tunnels, but we had to bomb them, and it's not safe for you to go. They're lying. They're liars. They've always been liars. They are part of the settler colonial experience. This is perfectly justified. What they're doing in Syria now, Israel's occupying part of Syria. This is what they've always wanted. They're killing their way. They think that everybody that's not a Zionist Jew is a bad person. And they're killing their way to some sort of what they perceive as peace. And the arrogance of Israel and the arrogance of America and the arrogance of the Western powers who are supporting this is breathtaking. But we are not in a good time in history. We are in a really bad time in history. This is before, we're in the preamble to World War III. There is something coming down the pipe. I don't know if it's going to be bombing Iran so they don't go nuclear. I don't know if it's going to be continue just getting rid of doing the Project for New American Century neocon thing where we continue to overthrow these countries until we perceive that we have peace in the Middle East through violence and terror. That's never going to work. It's never have worked. Hamas didn't do this because they were trying to create peace. These people were living in an open air prison next to a rave. They were having a rave next door. They wanted the Palestinian people to hear it. They wanted these people who can't travel on roads, certain roads, because unless they have approval, unless they have some kind of documentation. Israel completely controls their travel in and out of Palestine, of Gaza. They completely control it. They're bombing them from the sky. They want to do another blockade, another blocking any aid to Israel. Any aid to Palestine. And they're doing it all with the justification of terrorism. You cannot, this is what America did with 9/11. We're allowed to go into two wars, neither country which attacked us, because that's geostrategic position, natural resources, and we got to protect Israel because they're part of the settler colonial colony in the Middle East. In fact, they're the only one. They're the only European-based Western colony in the Middle East. What did RFK call Israel? America's God damn it, what's the thing that floats the big, ridiculous, overpriced bullshit? Aircraft carrier. There we go. That Israel is America's aircraft carrier in the Middle East. That's a Kennedy saying it. I'm so tired of Zionists. I'm so fucking sick of them. I'm so sick of them pretending that they're justified by doing this when in fact they're just committing a genocide. I'm so tired of listening to people. You don't get to complain about the Holocaust anymore because you are committing a Holocaust. You are committing an ultimate atrocity to the people of Palestine. That's what you're doing. And they're doing it because they can. They're doing it because nobody is stopping them. Nobody in the Senate, nobody in the House, nobody in the military, the president certainly isn't. And the last president was just as fucking bad. This is a foreign policy cancer that we're currently under. An empire and colonialism and thinking Americans are superior and thinking Western white people are superior to people in the Middle East. We can't let anybody just live in peace. We can't just let people we have to constantly oppress them. And then when they revolt, we blame them. We blame the prisoner who's been treated like shit his whole time. And finally, he gets organized enough to rebel against the oppressor, and we side with the oppressor. I understand why J.D. Vance sides with the oppressor. Hell, I even understand why Sharon Stone does. What I don't understand is how the average person identifies with the oppressor. I don't understand it. But I don't understand human psychology and how we even got to this fucking point anyway. How we've gotten to the point in empire where we are right now. I've actually tried to critically think and learn just tried to really analyze a lot of the situation, and none of it makes any fucking sense. And for Sharon Osbourne to say, who's not even born in America, Sharon Osbourne can fuck right back off to England with her untalented children and her junkie husband. I'm so fucking tired of celebrities. I'm tired. This goes the same for George Clooney. I'm going to keep mentioning George Clooney. George Clooney needs to he needs to fold his ideas up and shove them up his ass. I am tired of hearing George Clooney defending the Democratic Party. I am tired of hearing fucking Zionists want people deported and want to stop people and calling everything anti-Semitism. These are the children who cried wolf. And the only reason it's working is because it's backed by the United States military-industrial complex and the machinery that is the United States, the war machine that is the United States. That's the only reason that any of this is happening, because America is letting it happen. And the Israelis, they know it, and they're thrilled with it. And they don't want the war to end. They want it to go. They want their soldiers to be brought back. They want it to end. They don't want it to end because it's an atrocity happening against Muslims and the people of Palestine. They want it to end because their soldiers are in danger. They don't want because the IDF, because every Israeli Jew has to serve in the IDF. Israel has overplayed its hand. They are the country who cried wolf about anti-Semitism, and now it's coming into your country. Your children are not allowed to protest at colleges with the chance of being arrested and manhandled by police. This is the history, right? This is what we've always done. I mean, we go back to the World War I veterans with Smedley Butler. We go back to the Hooverville. We can go into the 60s, the civil rights, the anti-war movement, the anti-nuclear movement, all oppressed by the police. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan, when they put free speech zones, they put people in cages down the street from places so they protest. Now they're just arresting you. Remember Zuccotti Park with Occupy Wall Street? Or any time that people came out and protest, the cops get suited and booted and come out and descend on you like an army. Dissent is being eliminated in America. And people like Sharon Osbourne, who have the temerity to ask that people for speaking the truth, calling them terrorist supporters because they don't want to see little babies and human beings, men and women destroyed that have nothing to do with Hamas. Civilian casualties casualties always happen during this kind of shit, and it's fucking horrible. But the amount of civilian casualties that Israel has created for no reason. Hamas doesn't have an air force. They don't have a navy. They don't have any fucking tanks. They're doing this with bottle rockets and fucking and old weapons. They're literally, this is like Flintstones versus G.I. fucking Joe. It's fucking sick. Fuck Sharon Osbourne. Again, last thing. Fuck Sharon Osbourne, her untalented, racist children, and her junkie fucking husband. Thank God for KNEECAP, and more artists like them are needed. Thank you for listening.